And there we go, the microphone is on. Welcome everyone, I'm your host DrFox2000 and you are watching a VolcanoX live stream. And unfortunately I'm not feeling very happy. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving everyone, for those that are in the United States celebrating Thanksgiving. And all the best to all of you. Hopefully you're having a good meal and a good evening and enjoying everything. And well, yeah, you're asking, Canada asks us, how come? Well, it's, you know, second year without having been able to talk to Bree. And it gets you, you know. It gets you. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that. Going to try to do the show. Unfortunately, not a heck of a lot going on today. But we'll get at it here. Hermione and Fluffy were first ones in today. So Hermione gets the cookies. And Fluffy too, I guess. I don't know. Fluffy may need a bib or something. He's gonna have crumbs all over his fur, but anyway, all cool. So welcome to everyone that is here, and I figure we have a bunch of you that are hiding out and enjoying your dinner and stuff, which is all good. Anyway, welcome to Gonna start out with Lizoid is here, as well as Kananaska's country, and Sophie, of course. Hermione we got already. Peter Greenlees, welcome. Scott Hartman also in the house. Philomena, welcome. Glad to have you back on board. Kevin Haynes is here. Peter Greenlees, welcome. Going up a little more, looking for other names, and who else are we finding here? We got Scott, we got Peter, we got Sophie, welcome. And I'm not sure what you were trying to do with the, trying to get the weather there, Sophie. It's exclamation W, then a space, and then the name of your town or city. That'll work, so hopefully you'll be able to do that. We also have Henry Nelson here as well, and welcome Henry. Kevin Williams also here. We got two of our Kevin kegs. Anyway, Judy L, welcome. Glad to have you on board. Going up a little bit more, looking for, there is Tom, welcome. Glad to have you here, Tom. And going up a little bit more, Judy L we got, Philomena we got, and still scrolling upward here, looking for other names in the chat. And I think, did I mention Lizoid? I think I did, but welcome anyway if I didn't. And let's see, who else we got in here? Scrolling, looking for more wonderful names. And scrolling fairly quickly. I hope I didn't jump over any of them. Ariane, welcome back. Good to have you on board. Storm Chaser 1211 also here. Welcome back. And who else we got? Looking, still scrolling and looking for more good names. And I'm all the way to the top already, and I don't see any other names. So let's go back down to the bottom and see if anybody else snuck in while I wasn't looking. And I don't think they did. I see everybody is still kind of the same people. Oh, Sharon Stewart is here. Welcome, Sharon. Cheers, Doc. Happy Thanksgiving. May duck out in this second hour to eat. Yep, tofu turkey feast. Oh boy, it sounds interesting, but welcome anyway, Sharon. Anyway, let's get at things, and we'll try to go through everything fairly quick. Like I say, today is not not the busiest day for volcanoes, so didn't see a heck of a lot going on anywhere. Let's pop over to Iceland to start things out, and let me get on there and go back about 9 hours on this. Of course, this is the what Reykjavik, the capital city, looks like right now, and then we go back about 8 or 9 hours to take a look at what the day was like. And there it is, and it was a gloomy, wet day. You can see it's raining, and visibility is poor, so the likelihood of us being able to see too much isn't going to be all that great anyway. Anyway, that shot is of downtown there and the area. And our next one, I'm going to put this one back on live. Go switch to the other camera view, and we'll back that up about 9 hours as well. And that is what it was looking like. People driving around with their lights on. And that's 9 hours ago. So it was a gloomy day for them there in Iceland, as you can see as you can't see, actually. It's fairly darkish looking there. I think the sun might have been out a little bit earlier, but not by much. No, really not that much of a difference when we go back even to about 11 hours almost. And still looks pretty gloomy. A wet, soggy day there for those guys. Anyway, let's put that back on live. We'll go take a quick look at the cam that is looking at Katla. And when I go back just about all the way, and that is almost 12 hours ago, was fairly light there at the time, but as you see, clouds like crazy over there. We do see some snow on the mountains, and so everything there likely got a fresh coat, especially up in the ice fields, but we can't see it, so that is a shame. Even if we come back ahead a little bit, we did see a little bit of an opening, but again, we're not seeing far enough back to be able to actually see the Katla area. And the rest of the day there was doom and gloom. There you go. And that is kind of what we're seeing. Let's leave that be, and we'll pop over to the harmonic tremor charts and take a look at those real quick. And hey, Barbarian, to quote Stanley Kowalski, meet. Uh-oh. That's a nice quote. I didn't know he mentioned that, but okay. Who's Stanley Kowalski? Anyway, there's our wonderful Fragile Fjell chart. You guys see it's still broken, and not much we can report on that. So I just refreshed to take a look and see if there was anything new, but nope. Let's slide up, and we're going to take a look and see if the Askja one is still working. And there it is. That is Askja. We see it is steady as she goes, and they did have some quakes over there in that area, but nothing overly big. Just one there, and then one right at midnight. We see right on the line there. So interesting, but everything else is small tremors in the area. Nothing heading upward, steady as she goes for Askja. Let's take a look at Grimsey. That'll be the next one on the list here. And getting down to that one. Grimsey. There you are. And not seeing anything major happening there either. Pretty steady. Hey, Sue Hayes, welcome. Good to have you on board. And anyway, we see it's just holding steady. Nothing fancy happening up there at Grimsey. And of course, Grimsey is way at the northern end of the Iceland. It's actually its own island. So there we go. And there is Grindavik. And looking at the Grindavik chart, Yep, up and down and up and down. And that's kind of what we're seeing, up, down. And that is not very promising. Not There might have been some small quakes in the area, but nothing that is really tipping the scales here. And I bet you our Fragor Fjord area would have been very close to the same as what this is right now. So that unfortunately isn't doing a heck of a lot. Let's see if we have that Herderbreed one, and we'll take a look at it. And it too was broken. Look at the funny geoglyphs that it has created. Somebody's been kicking the sensor. I think they went out and kicked the wrong one. Anyway, it is not doing so hot. So I guess it is what it is. I like ham. I like turkey, but I haven't had any. Actually, I haven't had a decent turkey dinner for a while. I'm going to leave it on Grindevik's chart, and and that's one of the reasons I'm kind of down. As I think about it, I didn't have turkey last Thanksgiving, our Canadian one last year, our Canadian one this year. No turkey for Christmas last year, and I don't know about this year. We'll see what happens, but no, I haven't had any. Unfortunately, it's one of those things. What do you do? But anyway, let's go over and have a look here at our earthquakes and see what's going on. And as you see, not a heck of a lot happening there. It's indicating 30 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. 30 small ones, nothing major at all. And unfortunately, that is not so happy, if you ask me. There's a reason we only eat a turkey 2 days a year. Is there? Otherwise, we'd be what? We'd be growing feathers or something, walking around going gobble gobble. I don't know why. That is barbarian, but anyway. 1:17 a.m. We had this 1.47, 11 kilometers down. There's the island of Grimsey right there. Very small little place, but it does have an airport, and of course there it is. And we'll go on to the next one here. 5:31 a.m. we had a magnitude 1.06, 135 meters down for him. And at 13:05 we had a 1.63, 6.6 kilometers down for that guy. Moving on, we don't see anything in between here, but let's get into a Herderbreed or that area. There we go. We've got a 2.1 in magnitude, 5.2 kilometers down from 1330. Then we have this magnitude 1, 3.2 kilometers down from 917. And that is to the north side of Herderbreed. This is Herderbreed right there. And to the south, we have these guys, 0.24, 7.3 kilometers down, 1:11 a.m. We have a 0.44, 5.3 kilometers down from 15:01. We have a 0.9, just about a kilometer down, 0.99, and 4:01 a.m. for him. And then we have this 1.25, 4 kilometers down, 6:41 for that guy. Then 1.1, 5.3 kilometers down, 6:42 a.m. And 3:06 a.m. a 1.54, 0.8 of a kilometer down. And moving down, we have a couple a little further down. This is a little different, but hey, we'll take them wherever they come. 10:03 a.m. It's a 1.3 magnitude, 5.2 kilometers down for that guy. And this one from 1523, a 0.8 and 5.2 kilometers down for that. And looking at Astja itself, we don't see anything at Astja. Oh, there's a straggler, a 0.4, and that is 1.1 kilometers down, 33 minutes after midnight for him. Don't see too much else in that area, so Astja very quiet. And looking here, nothing at Bartabunga. We have a 1 over here at Grimsvatn, and that is from 2304, 1 in magnitude, and 1.3 kilometers down for him. We also have this 0.3, 5.2 kilometers down, and 1304. Hey, Joseph Fields official, happy belated birthday, Joseph. We had a cake for you yesterday. You didn't show up. What happened? Oh, let me guess, you were busy at a birthday party. Likely excuse. Happy birthday, Joseph, and hope you have many more. Anyway, 1304.3, 5.2 kilometers down for him. And then we've got down here a 1.42 and 0.6 of a kilometer down. That was from 711 was the time on that. And of course, over here at Katla, where we expected all these things, I wasn't online for most of yesterday. Thanks for the cake. Yeah, you're welcome. And we can understand, you know, if you got a birthday, usually you're busy doing something else, like birthday party or something. So I'm just bugging you. It's all good, and I hope you had a good birthday. Anyway, 2304.3 is the magnitude, and 12.8 kilometers down for that one. This is a magnitude 1.1 kilometers down from 1955 today. And then we have this guy, 1436 is the time on this 0.3, and that is 5.2 kilometers down. So nothing really major happening there at Katla. And, you know, with everything that we've seen, we should have seen a whole bunch more little quakes if it was going to erupt, like those little small tremors that you see when you have magma moving. And we never did see that. So a couple more people popped in. Raymond Densler, welcome. And Kathy, aloha. I'm glad to have you on board. Anyway, we have this 2.1 out here, 5.2 kilometers down from 1445, sliding over towards our Reykjanes Peninsula. And of course, for those who aren't familiar with it, Reykjavik right there, the capital city of Iceland. And then of course down here on the tip of the peninsula, we've got Keflavik Airport, Keflavik, Reykjanesbær, Jardvik. And if we slide over a little bit, you can see Grindavik down here, and that is the town there. And of course the Blue Lagoon right here on the map, and of course the power plant beside it. So let's take a look at the peninsula and see what we've got. We've got a 0.9 way out here, 4 kilometers down from 1358. And then we've got a 0.83, 6.3 kilometers down, 3 a.m. for that guy. Then 1.65, 5.2 kilometers down, 6:53 was the time for that one. 15:37 for this guy, a 0.41, 3.6 kilometers down. And that is all over there. And that is kind of the Krusavik area. And not within our Fagradalfjall area. And there, of course, is where Ragnar is in the Siggy Fissure. And we're just not seeing any quakes in that area at all. So everything is really quiet there. Close to Grindavik, we did have this one here, 1.05, 9.2 kilometers down from 2:05 a.m. And sliding over a little bit more, we had a 0.74, 2.2 kilometers down from 9:23, and that was it for. That's it for the ones on land. Then we only have these two here in the water. 1649 for this 1.3, 5.6 kilometers down, and this 1.7 came in at 1651, 6.7 kilometers down. And this 2.09, 14.2 kilometers down from 1536. And that's it for our earthquakes there in Iceland. And that was pretty quick, pretty fast. Let's do a quick check on other quakes around that area. I just want to see if there was anything new happening there. We had some other ones previously, but I don't think there's anything new. So I'm just having a quick look at the other map here, and we don't see anything new. This one was the one in the Norwegian Sea, that 5.1, that's already older. This was the one at Jan Mayen 3.4 from a couple of days back, so I'm not going to worry about that. And all of these are a little bit older already. That one was from yesterday, the 3.1. There's nothing, well, hang on, what's this little guy? 2 days old already, that 2.8 by Svalbard. But that's it for that area, you guys. Really nothing new to report in that sense. So let's carry on. We're going to go over to Sicily really quick and have a good look at that. Leo Carlson, welcome, and also a Sky Tour, a live stream with Mark. Mark, welcome, and glad to have you on board, and nice to see you. And of course, for those people who aren't familiar with Mark, we can actually, if we had some extra moderators in here, I could maybe even... let's see, Joseph, are you still here? If you can drop Mark's link, I don't know if you can or not. Let me see if I can. I'm going to see if that'll work. From in the studio screen, it doesn't. Let me see if I can bring it up on the other one here. I'm going to try anyway. Want to throw Mark's link in there. And let me see if I can do that. Where is that guy? Go to channel. There we go. I got it on his channel. All right. So for all those good people who haven't gone over and taken a look at some of Mark's wonderful work, you might want to. And he's got some awesome sky pictures he does at night with the telescopes. It is really cool. So you guys can go over there and enjoy it. I'm just going to try to get back into the right place here. So I'm just going to put Mark. Whoop, I gotta click in here, Mark, and then I'm going to drop his link like that. So there you go. If you want to pop over and go over to Mark's, you can certainly do that. He is very knowledgeable with all his astronomy stuff. He's got some excellent telescopes working out there in, I guess you got two scopes going. The one in, I think it's Florida. I'm not sure where the eastern one is, but I do know the other one is out in Arizona. So pretty awesome. Anyway, also see Klaus came in. Guten Abend, Klaus. And let's see, and we also have Judy McClellan made it in. Awesome. And there we go. Going to keep going here. I wanted to get back to the show here. What am I doing? All right, Sicily. Not a heck of a lot going on there. And let's see, I see it's buffering. That's always nice. That's been the story of my life with that channel today. If we go back about 10 hours or so, then you can actually kind of sort of see Etna. There it is. And that was from about 2 p.m. Roughly. And looking not too bad. it does have a lot of clouds and stuff around it. I do have the time lapse from this morning. Yes, it is still snowy. Quite a bit of snow on Etna, and it may get some more yet, which is really kind of interesting or irritating, either or. We have a 2, and soon we will have a 3. East is Connecticut, and the one in Arizona, and the second one from Arizona. Ooh, okay. Anyway, and this is the time lapse I did up this morning, and hopefully that'll work so you get a little bit better idea of what their day started out as. And you can see those clouds just rolling right over top of Mount Etna, and that is kind of an awesome view. And there comes the sun, so all good, but it didn't melt all that snow by any means. It is quite cold there. This time lapse is really nice. Yeah. Hey, I try to do just about one every day, Mark, and they work pretty awesome. Some days those clouds are zipping back and forth. You kind of got to wonder, so what the heck is making them go, first from right to left and left to right, and then back the other way, and then they stop in the middle and then take off to the right again, really awesome display of weather there in Sicily, and it's quite interesting. Wow, a lot of snow. Yeah, we're selling ski trips there, Raymond, if you want to go. Not kidding. Anyway, this time lapse, of course, is at 128 times regular speed, just so you guys kind of have that. These Sicilian drivers there that you're seeing zipping along the highway, they really aren't going that fast. They're only going twice the speed of the speed limit. I'm kidding. They're actually good drivers. It's the other ones that aren't so good. Never mind. Anyway, pretty awesome, and that was kind of it for time lapse for right now. And it was kind of a nice sight. And thank you kindly, Kathy. Love time lapses. Yeah, I kind of like them too. That's why I make them. And we'll leave that be, and I'm going to call that it for our wonderful, oh, it's still buffering? No, for our wonderful Mount Etna for today. Let's pop over to the Azores real quick. And of course, this lovely bright area here, that is the harbor. It's all lit up. And then, of course, the town site right here. For those who aren't familiar with this picture, the lights of Pico Island are over there. There's about 18 kilometers in between the two. This is what it would look like during daylight hours. If that'll turn on, there we go. And there you can see Mount Pico, or Mount or Volcano, Pico Volcano, in the background there, hiding behind the clouds. And of course, that is Pico Island. We are on the island of São Jorge, or São Jorge, if you want to say it in Portuguese. And it looks not bad. The other one that we look at, of course, is the cove, to see how rough that weather really is. And let's see if we can get on that one. And what we look for is the white water around the bottom of the cove area. So there's the cove, and you can see there's a bunch of white water splashing up. It's pretty rough ocean right now, and I wouldn't want to go out there. For those who kind of wonder what that looks like during the day, and that is what it is on a calm day, to give you a better idea. So you've got some boat docks out there and things like that, but really looking pretty rough right now. I did have a look earlier during the daytime hours. It looked really rough in the ocean. I wouldn't want to be out on a boat. Thank you for that 5-minute warning, by the way, Tom. I appreciate that. And anyway, quick peek at our earthquakes there. Let's change the screen size real quick. There we go. And first earthquake of today is a 1.6. Came in at 9:22 a.m. And there's the island of São Jorge. And of course, here's Pico Island, the one we've seen with Pico Mountain on it. And this is Fayal Island, Terceira over here. This is where the other volcano is, of course. But anyway, we only had those two. So the 1.6 from 9:22 and a 1.5 from 21:03. And because this is only for this island, the other map comes in handy. And I did refresh it just before the show. I'm going to refresh it again just to make sure we didn't miss anything. And I see we are still at the same levels there. Let me get rid of that. There we go. And there is your entirety of the Azores. And of course, we are only seeing those two quakes. The one from 3 hours ago, 1.5, and 1.6 from 15 hours ago. And of course, there, if we zoom in a little more, you can actually see there is a Pico volcano right there. And that is quite pointy. That's got a nice shaped caldera up top there. I thought that looked good. And of course, the other one that is on the watch list of minor activity is, of course, Terceira. And this is the other one that we got to be concerned with. So if it does erupt, it'll be interesting. It will likely follow these paths here. But again, we need to know where it's going to erupt. That caldera is pretty big. If it does happen to erupt on this side, we could see flows coming out here. And we really don't want them going that way. We end up getting into all this farmland and some of those areas. The whole thing, though, is because it is all farmland around it, it's going to be difficult to say, which direction it would pop if it did. Unfortunately, no idea what's going to happen on that island yet, if it even will go off. So, pretty cool. Thank you for the 2-minute warning. And we are pretty much done with the Azores. And we can pop over and take a look at Popocatepetl, but I think I'm going to save that one for after the break, since we are ahead of schedule by a little bit. And that is Popocatepetl, 70 kilometers south of Mexico City. And we will leave it there. So for those good people who are here, if you have not yet hit that like button and you're enjoying the show, please do help us out, nail that like button. And also, if you're sitting on the sidelines wanting to get in and chat, you can certainly hit that subscribe button. And 1 minute later, you'll be able to get into the chat box and chat with all the friendly people in there. And they are all really good and friendly people. Anyway, that's it for right now. I'm your host, DrFox2000. I'm going to take a 5-minute break or thereabouts. Don't go away, and we've got lots more show to come. Here comes some music for you. And that microphone is back on. Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad to have you on board. I'm your host, DrFox2000, and you're watching a VolcanoX live stream. And thank you, Leo and Kevin and Sue, for the welcome backs. Awesome. And let's see, Hermione says welcome back, and Casey as well. And I hear you, Dr. Fox, from Sharon Stewart. Awesome, Sharon. And you're still there, so all good. And that is excellent. Let's pop back over to Popocatepetl. While we were on break, it had a little puff coming out of there, and it wasn't anything violent. It just puffed, and we see its cloud coming out, and that is what it is doing right now. So didn't see any lava when it did that, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have switched it over. But that is Popocatepetl of right now, and it is, of course, 1838 there, so they're an hour in the future, as far as I'm concerned, it only being 5:38 here and 6:38 p.m. for them. Anyway, just to go back a few minutes, we see what kind of preluded this, and just seeing some of the puffiness come out, and this is kind of the slow speed it's been doing all day long. So multiple shots like that, nothing really super spectacular. This one was a little bit bigger in the clouds here, from about 1628, and you can see that puffing up quite a ways, and it had a larger plume, but again, we're not seeing anything really significant that would scare us into believing that we have an imminent eruption. And prior to that, it spent most of its day in the volcano gray, in other words, cloudy. And there we go, popping all the way back to about 8:37. That's what it was like. Still no snow on Popocatepetl, which is really nice. For those who aren't familiar with it, it is about 70 kilometers south of Mexico City. And here was one of the early morning puffs that it had. And that is this guy as it started coming out. And again, you know, relatively slow in comparison to what we typically see from a volcano like, say, a Fuego, where it moves out a lot faster. And of course, a Fuego is one of the ones that we like to look at to see a volcanic lightning, whereas this slowpoke stuff coming out of Popocatepetl is not going to produce that, because of course those molecules aren't bashing together, polarizing themselves and creating that charge, not as quickly. There may be a charge, but very small. So that is kind of what we were seeing at 7:23 this morning. If we advance that just a little bit, 5 seconds at a time, you can see, you know, it really wasn't a hard, heavy eruption, and it starts to drop out here on the bottom. You don't see the thick plume come up anymore. It kind of dissipated, so that's what we were seeing. And we can get back just to the golden time, and there was the first golden mushroom coming out of Popocatepetl at 6:45 a.m. And if we advance that a little bit, we can see that it was relatively quiet, and that dissipated as well. So as the sunlight hit the volcano and started to create it, you know, a nice golden effect on it, which is pretty awesome. Anyway, let's pop ahead 10-20 seconds here, see what we can see. And I don't think there was a heck of a lot more than that. If we go right back, we unfortunately don't go back to the black and white time, and today they are not putting it back to the 14 or 15 hour stream mark. So we kind of have to live with what we've got. Anyway, I'm going to put that one back on live. And that is what we're looking at right now at 1842 their time. Moving along, popping over to Fuego, the one that is a little bit more active and eruptive. Of course, it is already dark there in Guatemala, and that is the same time zone as Mexico, of course. And that is what we are seeing. If we back up a little bit, there were a couple of really decent ones here just a few minutes ago. Let's see if we can get onto them. Like right about here. And there it is. Unfortunately, it's quite windy there, so that camera is shaking pretty bad. But hey, it's not for us to try to fix. It's unfortunate, but Mother Nature needs to blow. And it is, of course, at a very high elevation. The height of that volcano, of course, is 12,364 feet. And the camera is mounted somewhere around 10,000 feet on a different mountain. And quite windy up top there. So that was just a little while ago. And then earlier, of course, during the daylight hours, just as sun was setting, kind of a surreal picture there, other than the shaking. It would have been nice if it wasn't. We did have one blast there, and that is right about here. Unfortunately, we weren't seeing any lava coming out. And usually at dusk and dawn is when we see the lava plumes if we are looking for them. But the camera changes over fairly quickly from day to nighttime or night to daytime, depending on the amount of light. And usually we don't get the color option there later at night. I wish they would leave it on. Anyway, let's back that up just a little more. There was another plume here that was a little bit more intense, and that would be this one. And let's see if it pops. It should be popping any second. And I see right about there, yep. So we see that plume coming up. Nice color in the sky, but it does really create quite a silhouette. So pretty awesome to be able to see that big black monster coming out of the top of the volcano. Or is that a big doggy looking at the sky? There's his nose, there's his mouth, ears hanging here. No, never mind. Pareidolia will console ya. Anyway, that's all good. But that's kind of doing its same thing. And we did have multiple shots like that. Here's actually a bigger one that we did have earlier, and we'll take a look at this one. I just got to get it to the right spot here, and just advance a few more seconds, and we'll see. And I'm just going ahead 5 seconds at a time here so I don't miss it. Whoop, I did miss it already. Okay, well, watch there. That's the speed it comes out at. And you've seen those chunks flying out on the sides there. So, as I mentioned before, this is the style of eruption that you really want to take a look at for volcanic lightning, because the material is heading out of there so fast, whether it's tephra, molten lava, ash, other gas molecules, as well as a lot of water molecules coming out, and they're bashing together as they're being ejected at a high speed, creating some very heavy charges. And on occasion you can see that wonderful volcanic lightning. But unfortunately, we're not seeing any here today. One of the things that we don't see, on this particular volcano, there is not as much moisture in there. not as much water vapor. So what we do see is, if we do see a volcanic lightning, it is actually quite rare. You know, if you recall way back from our wonderful La Palma, Cumbre Vieja had a fair amount of additional water vapor in the ejecta, and of course that really did help. Mind you, that also had quite a bit of blast power when it was coming out. Some of it was quite violent, but as you can see, it kept on doing its thing. And this, of course, at 1616 or 416 their time there in Guatemala. And that was pretty cool and very dirty. And as you may notice, you see a lot of material coming down the side, so you know there's stuff rolling down the hill. And it's got a long ways to go, though. Like I said, this thing is 12,364 feet tall, or I can't remember what the meters were, but it's quite up, quite a ways up. So almost need oxygen up there, very close to it anyway, if you wanted to pop there. And we'll go back a little bit more. They didn't have anything from earlier in the day as far as the nighttime shots in the morning, but we didn't have a lot of cloud in here, and you see how these clouds are moving around. And of course, this is standard speed. This is not a time lapse. You see how quickly those clouds are moving, and that is pretty scary when you do see that. Anyway, yeah, boy, it didn't take long to go from something visible to a volcano gray, did it? And we'll back up a little bit more. I think that there's one more I wanted to look at right around here, and there it is, 1342, and that was a pretty good ejection shot as well. There was a bunch of tephra being thrown out. You could see the chunks flying off to the sides, some of the bigger material, and looks not too bad. Sounds sounds good. Raymond Turkey is getting a cut now. Ah, darn it. We just finished the ham. Sent Dr. Fox a pic. Aw. You send a picture? You're gonna be making me want to drool. Let's see. What's that look like? Oh. Oh, okay. Yes, Tom. All right. Let's make everybody a drool. Let's see if we can save that real quick. And need to address that. Give it a name. XX Turkey. There we go. Gonna load that picture up. And so if you want a volcano roasted turkey, you well, go over to Tom's place and get one. And there is the volcano roasted turkey, you guys. Enjoy that. Stuffed and everything, ready to go. And that looks yummy. All right, back to the volcano. Anyway, otherwise I'm going to be drooling some more here. Turkey list today, and that is what we've got. Tom the Turkey, yep, that was Tom the Turkey. Did it have some pepper on it? Oh, I know, had to be funny. I had to say that, you guys. Come on, it was just there. We had to do it. Anyway, let's leave this guy be, because prior to this, it was pretty much in the clouds. Oh, well, actually not all of it. I see in the earlier times we did have one plume come out of there. This was at 9:01, and that is actually not bad. Actually, I thought when I restarted this, I only had about 6 hours to go back in, because they restarted their stream, and it looks like it may have been extended a little bit. We do have a total of about 10 hours now, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's what it was looking like there at 9:02 a.m. and their time, of course. And if we go back to right to the very beginning here, we see the end of a plume, and I did watch that, trying to see if there was some lava coming out, but we had nothing. So putting it back to live, and that is what it looks like right now. And that is about it. So let's carry on, and we will go to where are we going next? We're going to Merapi, and that is Merapi in Java in Indonesia. Merapi. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. I'm on Semeru. There's Merapi. And looking at Merapi, they've got a bunch of cameras down, so we're getting a bunch of different shots here, but we see what it was doing. And let's go back a little ways. I didn't hear of anything major going on there at Merapi. This is a 5:53 a.m. and we see the cone still doing its thing up top here. No collapses as of yet. You know, I'm still waiting for that to possibly collapse. And of course, there were times where we had it cloud right out, as you can see here, which is about 4:51 a.m., about an hour earlier than what we were just looking at. But prior to that, it too was fairly clean looking, and there they were on that single shot. But again, not seeing anything really, you know, that strikes me to be a full-blown eruption of any type. This is 1:38 a.m., very quiet looking at that point in time. And if we go back a little bit more, and this is 40 minutes after midnight at their time, don't see a heck of a lot. We do see over on this spot here a little light there. So if there was some ejecta of some sort, not sure exactly where this camera is because it is so dark. But if there is some lava, we sure as heck didn't see it on this shot, you guys. Anyway, let's leave that guy be, and we will put him back onto live. That way we can find him. Thank you, Tom, for the 5-minute warning. And that is what it looks like right now. And yeah, they got that camera on, so pretty cool. Anyway, let's pop over to New Zealand, and there is, well, there was there is supposed to be a volcano back here, and that is Mount Ruapehu. And unfortunately, we've had the this same problem here for the last few days, where we are seeing a lot of cloud, and they have those lows sitting beside them, bringing that cold air up. It's mixing with the warm air, and it gives us this wonderful stuff, and we can't see a darn thing. And you can just see the edges of the snowfield here, and unfortunately we can't see anything beyond that because of the clouds being in the way. And that is about it. So there we go. Let's leave that be though, and we'll put that back on live. Yeah, we can still see the edge of that snowfield down on the bottom here, but we all know what it looks like. We'll see if we can see it later on. And I'm going to put it back on this one. We'll pop over to Semeru real quick. And of course, Semeru also on East Java. Well, that's East Java. Merapi is actually a Central Java, as they call it. So pretty cool, pretty awesome. But looking at what we see there, we do see some off-gassing coming out of the crater. And I don't recall having seen anything major coming out of this. They did zoom in on it just a little while ago. And there's when, yeah, they zoomed in just after this plume popped out. You can see it down here on the right-hand side. And then they changed things. That's not me, that's them. And they made that picture zoomed in, I guess. Stream, substream, display shield. Okay. I'm glad he's showing his entire menu. Anyway, let's speed that up just a tad here to see if he puts it there. They did get it in, zoomed in a little bit at that point, but that was already after the flow happened. So you can see the output flow, the way it comes down that hill. Pretty awesome, and that's going to work more and more, make this crevice deeper and deeper over time, but we'll see how that works. And going back in time though, nighttime shots, we'll see what it looked like. And of course there you can see the glow, and that was from 4:02 a.m. and I'm glad they increased their quality on this. It's a little more pleasing to be able to see a focused picture. But we do see it smoking and a little fire in the hole up top. Unfortunately, it didn't produce anything major after that. Even prior to that, going back to about 2 a.m., you still see about the same thing. Couple little tiny spots here. So it may have had something in earlier, but we really didn't see it. I didn't see anything glowing, so I'm going back, and this is about an hour before, and again, still don't see anything popping through. And if we go back another couple of hours or hour and a half, this is from 23:13 their time, we do see the glow up top, but again, nothing coming out. Gonna put that one back on live. And that is, of course, what it is looking like right now at Semeru in East Java in the Philippines, not Philippines, Indonesia. And that is pretty cool, pretty awesome. And it is break time, you guys. So I am going to go take another break, and found... you found a new volcano. We found all kinds of volcanoes, Mark. Welcome. I'm glad to have you on board. There are multiple volcanoes that we show. We just finished showing Merapi and of course, Fuego, and etc., etc. Ooh, hey, we're getting a blast. This is cool. While we're watching. Okay, you guys, for all of you good people that are here, I am going to go for a break. I'll leave this on for right now, but as soon as it starts dying out, I will switch it back to our can lava. And all those good people who are here, please, if you have not yet, hit that like button, help us out. We are trying to get over that 100 mark. Of course, that is where we really get the YouTube analytics to kick in and do their thing. So help us that way. Also, if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing if you feel we've earned it. And on that friendly note, when we come back from the break, we'll have bacon seeds. And we'll see what kind of trouble they bring. Actually, they're harmless today. But anyway, I'm your host, DrFox2000. I'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Don't go away, and keep smiling, and try not to get too close to Semeru. It sometimes throws out some big chunks. I'll be back. Thanks. And there we go. A microphone is back on. Welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you all on board. None of shore boats now. Thank you for the welcome back from Scott and Sue. I appreciate that. And I hear you from Sharon Stewart. All good. Cool. I'm glad it's working. And that is awesome. And let's carry on. Thanks, Kananaskis Country. I appreciate it. And we'll get over to our bacon seeds. Robert and Chandel also here. Welcome and thank you. And bigger boats can't come here with all the mills. Okay. All clear here. Alrighty. Let's go back over and take a look at our bacon seeds. And of course, that is what we left on yesterday. And of course, for those who aren't familiar with the funny joke behind that, the gentleman went to the doctor and the doctor tells him, I'm sorry, but you can only eat seafood from now on. And of course, on the bottom picture there, you must learn to swim now, little piggy, to become a seafood. All right, we'll leave that be. Let's get on to our next one. And these are little suckling pigs. Piglets, pigs, piggies, I don't know what you want to call them. They're bacon seeds. And they're young bacon seeds doing their thing. And of course, that is always nice to see the little ones getting their nutrition. So, brand spanking new, you bet. They are as seedy as you can get. And that is awesome to be able to see. So, cool. Let's carry on to the next one. And this guy looks a little more grown. He looks like he's heading out somewhere. Looking probably on the hunt for truffles. And he's definitely got a pretty big belly on him, so not malnourished by any means. And I think that is always awesome. That's one of the things I look at when I see these animals, and to make sure that they actually have been fed, which is trotting off somewhere. Speaking of trotting, I don't know where that darn piggy has gone. Anyway, she will be back, I'm sure. Anyway, let's carry on with our wonderful bacon seeds here. And we'll see what we've got. There we go. And this is another one. This one looks like he could eat a little bit more. And definitely a cutie, though. I like that. That is very, very nice looking. And I like it. I think he's paying attention to the camera. He's got lighter colored eyebrows, at least on the one eyeball. That's pretty cool. Eyelashes, not eyebrows. Eyelashes. And he is trotting off somewhere to pick on a donkey day. Okay, Trevor, welcome. Glad to have you on board. And let's carry on to our next bacon seed. And there's a whole bunch of them. And how many bacon seeds do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow, 11 bacon seeds in one shot. That's a lot of bacon seeds. Just imagine being a mama of 11. That is just a little bit too many. Anyway, busy mama, if you ask me. And I'm glad she's looking pretty, not quite a dozen. Yep. Just shy of a dozen. That is pretty awesome. And of course, they do have these big litters. There's no way about it that they do their thing. Next one is this little guy, all by himself. And yep. He looks tired, tuckered, he's had a rough day, and he's resting. It's either that or somebody took his trotters away. I think he's got his trotters tucked underneath him. So he's the 12th one. Yeah, he could get in there too if he was number 12, I'm sure. And that is kind of what we're seeing for today. And we have one last bacon seed for today. And that is this one. Hey, or what, brother, how did you get there? Looking at the outlet. That makes you wonder, doesn't it? Okay, let's leave the bacon seeds alone, and we will carry on, and we'll do our thing and head over to Japan, since we are cooking early here today, and I covered those other ones already. So there we go, Sakurajima, and that is in Japan. Let me see if I can get on the right screen. Things have moved again here. So 10:15 a.m. there right now in Japan. And that is our close-up shot of Sakurajima. And we see some smoke coming off of the caldera. Not as much as we'd like to see it, but hey, they're getting a little bit of a break, so hopefully not as much SO2 coming off that thing today, and makes it a little easier for them. Nice blue skies, which is really good. There is an ice cream boat there, so you can zip down and get your ice cream if you like. And that, of course, is from a little further back, and you can see what it is, and looks pretty awesome. And there we go. So cool stuff. And anyway, not a heck of a lot happening there right now. Even when we take a look at this one and go back in time a little bit, we try to get back to the early morning hours here, just as it got light. And let's see. Hey, Kevin Haynes throws in one gift membership. We'll see who ends up getting that. Kevin, just writing that down. And thanks, Kevin, for doing that. That's awesome. One gift membership. We'll see who ends up getting that. We'll back up a little bit more here, see if we see anything else. 6:13 a.m. You do see a little bit of a plume out of there, and the wind, of course, blowing it northward. And you see some stuff in the sky here. Don't know if that's satellites or airplanes or whatever, but they're there. And if we go back a little further in the night, I always check and look for kind of a glow happening, but I don't see a darn thing happening there. And moved back here a little bit more. Still I don't see any glow. Yep, nothing. 2 a.m., 2:11 a.m., no glow. So very quiet from that volcano. This is at about 1 a.m. or very close to it. And we aren't seeing anything there. We do have some decent sky though. We can see that there is some off-gassing happening, but we're not seeing anything else. And moving back another hour or so, still no glow. And even earlier than that, we can get back to about 11 and a half hours ago, and that's it right there from 22:31 or 10:30 p.m. Their time yesterday for them, which is not here yet now for us, since they are in the future, of course. They're on the other side of the international date line. So that is what causes that confusion with the time. Anyway, that is what we were seeing last night from them, and for them last night, which would have been our daytime anyway. Anyway, that is kind of what we've got. I'm going to put it back on live. and not a heck of a lot else happening there. We still don't have a close-up shot of that caldera anymore. We'll see what we can find later. Anyway, there is, moving on, this is, oh, it's kind of fuzzy. Darn it. I was hoping for a cleaner picture, but alright. Anyway, there you see the caldera of Aso. And Aso is, of course, in Japan as well. It is a little less active. It is rated as a green right now, and we do see a plume, fresh plume of gas coming out, or a steam. Actually, it would be steam in this case because there is a lake that has formed inside that caldera, very similar to Taal and some of those other volcanoes that have lakes within the calderas. And of course, the caldera floor is quite hot, and that causes the steaming, and that is what we see there. And of course, the caldera, big bowl, basically. So every time it rains, that rainwater sits inside there, accumulates as a lake, and that is what we're seeing. And that's pretty much it there for Japan. Quick peek over here. You guys might be familiar with this guy, and that is Mount Fuji. And the spider webs are free. You can have them. It's either that or they're aliens, but I'm going to call them spider webs. But lots of snow up on the top of Mount Fuji. And that is a pretty nice looking shot, and we'll leave that there, and we'll move on. I do not have a Taal volcano up. Let's see, I'm going to refresh that page and see. Nope, still nothing there, so I'm not going to worry about Taal. And so Taal is it's awful short. We're short of the feed from Taal. Moving on, and there is a Yellowstone National Park, and of course you can type in a I'll type it in Yellowstone, and that will bring up the link for Yellowstone National Park. That page will have the video feed as well as wonderful maps that you guys can go peruse. And they definitely are worthy of having a look at during the daytime. I did watch just before the show. Old Faithful was actually in full eruption again, spewing out a lot of steam, etc. So it looked good and wasn't too bad at all. And let's see, where else do we want to go on now? So that is it for that one. I think we need to go to Hawaii. Let's pop over to Hawaii. There it is. This is the, of course, the lava pond that is inside Kilauea's caldera. The primary vent is fed from this end over here, and the lava flows in, and then it subsides down at this end and along the edges here. And we can see these brighter spots where the really bright areas are. That's usually where you have gas bubbles coming up, breaking the freshly crusted over lava, and breaking that. Still, hey, why is it still there? I clicked it, darn it, thank you, Hawaii. Yeah, it's going, it's thinking. Come on, there we go. It was just mere microseconds behind me. I clicked it, and then I started paying attention to the other screen, and I guess it didn't like me and switch. So I don't know why it does that. Is that better? Can you see it now? Are we in Hawaii now? Do you see any palm trees? If you're not seeing any palm trees, we're not in Hawaii. Oh, hang on. There's no palm trees in that shot. Anyway, there's the brighter spots. You can see where the gas bubbles have broken through the crusted over lava on both sides here. And of course, along the wall, it usually seems to find a way out down there. And of course, again, this is the end where the lava tube is and feeds it into the system. And let's go to current shot at daylight hours. And will it give it to us? Webcam, what happened? Let's try that again. Guess what? Visit webcam. Looks like that one is kaput. Okay. Yep, it's broken. All right, we won't see it from that angle. Let's try this one. This is the longer range shot. Of course, you see the lava pond there. You can't make it out, but the primary vent is right there, and the hornito that feeds the lava tube is right in here, and you don't see it. Let's see if this one will show up, or is this going to be a bad day? No, that one did show up. There's your primary vent, and that actually looks like it's getting taller, and I'm wishing we had that other picture now, darn it. And of course our little hornito is over here, and that goes into that lava pond. We are still seeing quite a bit of smoke around the caldera walls. Also seeing some smoke up here, which is something we haven't seen for a while. And it kind of makes you wonder what the heck is going on over there. Somebody poking holes again or something? And we'll see what happens. And what have I missed? Nothing much, Philomena. Everything is still pretty much chugging along. And there is from the other side of the caldera, or the other, from the other side of the caldera, we're seeing the lava pond primary vent. You can see that one little light poking through. We cannot see the top of the hornito today, and it's being very evasive. And of course that picture will not reload either, so they are having some problems with their cameras. Let's leave that be. We'll get over to the thermal cam, and again a primary vent there. There's the hornito, or the top of it, the lava tube of course underneath everything, pouring into it, and you can see the direction that it poured in there. There is the toe area, and not so much left of those hot spots over there, so things are degrading. Anyway, this was from about 7 p.m. Their time last night, and this is current, so this is right now. A lot less brightness in the hornito, telling us, hey, not so much lava flowing, and a primary vent there, and of course the pond. And you can see the depth is still quite low. We're not seeing any raise in the level of that lava. There's the toe area, and again that a hot spot and not very visible. Popping over to Mauna Loa real quick. Pardon me. That was the picture from yesterday. Didn't do us any good. This is today at present, and that is Mauna Loa. And that is not bad looking. Big open caldera there. And like I say, I wouldn't want to see that thing go off all at once. It'd be very, very scary. And let's go take a look at the thermal map and see. I gotta refresh that one. That is yesterday's, and of course you can go there yourself and get this map. This of course is the Hawaii map from USGS, and if you haven't gone to look at it yet, you can just type in Hawaii map, all one word, and it will bring up this wonderful map or page, and you can go have a look at things there. Oh, excuse me, got the hiccups, darn it. Anyway, there we go. Temperature map, and of course you can see on the scale on the side here the white being up about 50 degrees Celsius, and you can see the gradient on the side here. And of course, this area is sunlit right now, so some of these rocks will probably be a little bit darker in natural color, and therefore they heat up a little bit more. This is not lava, just to remind everyone. This is just, well, it is lava, but it's not a hot lava. This is just a cold and dry lava. Now, it got heated up by the sun, so it's somewhere between 30 and 40 degrees Celsius right now. But yeah, I still wouldn't want to walk on it, but it is there. And then, of course, on the edges here, you can see that as well. The shaded areas are much darker, much cooler. And that is what we see up on top of Mauna Loa right now. So pretty cool, pretty awesome. And it is break time. So what we will do is put you back over onto our wonderful canned lava and let you continue to watch that. And I am going to take a break, and hopefully everyone will be okay in the meantime. If you have not yet hit that like button, help us out. Of course, our goal is to get over that 100 mark. And of course, we are always looking for, trying to get the YouTube analytics to work for us best. And that is, once it gets over that 100, it seems to work a lot better. A big difference. And for those sitting on the outside, if you have not yet subscribed, please do consider subscribing. After 1 minute, you can get into the chat box and chat with all the lovely people that are in there. Welcome to Mary Jane as well, who just popped in. And I am going to go take a break and keep smiling. Be good, be kind, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Thanks. And one bunny just showed up. Real cool. I'll be back. And there we go. The microphone is back on. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, DrFox2000, and you're watching a VolcanoX live stream. And of course, we switched over to canned lava. Pardon me. I thought I got rid of that before I got on here. Anyway, yeah. It was quiet there at Semeru, so I figured we'll pop that back in. Thank you for the welcome backs from Sue Hayes and Hermione and Kananaska's Country, and I Hear You from Sharon Stewart and Kevin Haynes. Thanks for the welcome back as well. And that is awesome, and glad to be back. So next thing we got to look at, I guess, would be earthquakes for Hawaii, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the planet, see what's shaking. And I wonder where our piggy is. I haven't seen her. She was in earlier in the other chat. Anyway, there's your Hawaiian Islands, and of course, for those who don't know about I know about a little over 5 million years ago, this guy used to be over here. And 5 million years, they truck along pretty good. So they move very nicely. This one about 3.8 million years ago, it used to be here. As they get created and pushed along, and in another 5 million years, the big island will be sitting over here. And it'll be interesting to see how that transpires. We'll have to check back in 5 million years. Anyway, let's zoom in and take a look. We'll do the Pahala area first. This one is way out. I'm not sure if that's actually on Luihi Seamount or not. We'll take a look. And, this is Luihi Seamount. It's just off on the side there. Where the kind of cave-in area is there. So I'm not sure what to think about that guy. It's a 1.9 from 23-24 yesterday, and 34.6 kilometers down for him. Let's put this back on a regular satellite view. We'll zoom in on the Pahala area. And of course, there's Pahala, the town right there. Most of the quakes here are between 26 and 37 kilometers down, and pretty straightforward to see those. We'll close that off, and there we go. 1.9 from 11:30, and then we have this guy here, 1.8 from 2:55 a.m., 2.0 from 2:15 a.m. Then we have this guy here, 2.0 from 8:13, and there's actually a 2 here, very small though, 1.8 from 4:11 a.m., and another 1.7 from 3:42. So that is all we see for the Pahala area right now. Sliding up the hill on the way up, we'll grab this guy. 2.0, and that is from 2:26 a.m., and that was from 3.5 kilometers below sea level for that guy. And we see another straggler over here. We're going to grab that one first. 1.9 from 1:49 a.m., and that is 7.7 of a kilometer below sea level. Let's get this new one here, and that is a 2.3 from 1804, right at sea level. And this one is 2.1 from 6:15 a.m., 1.3 kilometers below sea level. 2.4 right here from 1524, and that is 1.5 kilometers above sea level. So getting closer to the top of the caldera, but it's still got a couple kilometers to go. And then we have the last one up here is this one, 1.95 a.m., and that is 1.6 kilometers above sea level. So we already got this one. Let's take a look at this guy over here. and that is 1.8 from 1717, 4.8 kilometers below sea level for him. And zooming in a little bit more, we do see there's our Kilauea. We actually have two quakes there. This one 1.7, 1429 was the time on it, 6.3 kilometers below sea level. And this 1.8 from 1431 and 4.6 kilometers below sea level for him. That's it for Hawaii's stuff. Oh, I see this one over here on the slopes of Mauna Kea, and that is fairly far down though, 2.3, and that happened at 1627, 10.7 kilometers down for him. There, we've got them all, and that is what we see in Hawaii today. So let's zoom out, and we're going to take a look at the rest of the world real quick. First areas that are of concern, of course, are the really big ones, or the red ones. We don't see too many big ones. Looking here at the western coast, of course, the San Andreas Fault continuing to move along nicely. We see a bunch of little quakes, and it's always nice to see those. It's when we don't see those anymore that we have to worry, because the plates have locked up, and that is no good. Anyway, on the Baja of Mexico, they had another aftershock, 4.2, and that was yesterday's from 2325, 10 kilometers down for him. I wanted to point out these ones here in Texas, another little swarm. We had another 4 right there and 2 more over here. These two are 2.7, 1106 was the time on that, 5 kilometers down. 2.6 from 18 minutes after midnight, 5 kilometers down. And then we had the bigger one here, 4.5, and that was 7 kilometers down. 12:14 was the time on it. 4.9 at 12:19 as well, and that is 7.9 kilometers down. 3.0 from 7.7 kilometers down, and that is 13:51 was the time for him, and then 3.0 there for 13:50, 8.2 kilometers down. So that continues to go on, and you know, it very likely is because of fracking. When you look at the grid pattern here, these are all oil well grid patterns, and that is the roads going to different drill sites. So that is likely what we're seeing is a result of some fracking action, and I don't know if that's in fact what is causing it, but that is just a hypothesis. Anyway, sliding down into Central America, we see here top end of Colombia, 4.4 from 1735, 58.8 kilometers down. Going down a little bit more, I do believe that's Peru, and it is 4.9 from 9:22 a.m. 48.7 kilometers down. We don't see anything else happening there in Peru. Let's slide over to New Zealand. New Zealand still has the leftover from before, and not too much more action on the Kermadec Ridge till we get away over here, and that is in Tonga. 5.1, 8:01 a.m. is the time on it, 10 kilometers down for him. And then we have these two here, both considered Fiji, 4.7, yesterday's from 21:54, and then this one here, oh, hang on, I forgot the depth, 504 kilometers down. 4.6 for this guy from 24 minutes after midnight, 582 kilometers down, quite a ways down. And popping into Samoa, is that Samoa or Solomon? Sorry, Solomon Islands. The swarm continues here, and that is from 5.0 from 1543, 10 kilometers down. Then we've got a 5.4 from 2:15 a.m., 10 kilometers down, and 5.2 from 8:13 is the time, 23.1 kilometers down, and another 4.3 here, and 23:14 yesterday, 10 kilometers down. So lots of action. Solomon Islands and there. Hopefully it'll ease up for those guys. They don't need anything major shaking. Anyway, Papua New Guinea 4.0 from yesterday at 23:31 is what we're seeing right there. Nothing else over here with the exception of this guy, 5.1. Indonesia 19:11 was the time, 16.3 kilometers down. Going up into the Philippines, we see this 5.1 there, 8:05 a.m., 39.9 kilometers down for him. Sliding up a little bit more, we see this one, Kuril Islands, and that is 4.5 from 1450, 45 kilometers down. So nothing really major going on. And I was going to warn Piggy if we see this quake here, 4.3, and that of course is in Iran. That is the Arabian plate that is moving, and of course the Arabian plate is going to push the Anatolian plate here, and then you've got the Algerian, no, what is it? Yeah. Anyway, the Piggy's plate. Anyway, Piggy lives there in Kos, so she may end up getting some more quakes. Anyway, the Anatolian plate is moving faster at the top than it is at the bottom, and of course that kind of creates an arc, and it pushes against the other plate here and causes a lot of earthquakes. That's basically it for most of our earthquakes. Let's pop over to the Canary Islands. I just refreshed this during the break, so we should be pretty much up to date. I want to see if there's anything else further up. I don't see anything on the East Azores fault up here, so I will dig right into what we see. The latest earthquake, of course, showing over here on Gran Canaria, but we're not so interested on that one. I want to take a look more at La Palma, and beautiful La Palma. We have 3 quakes today. One right underneath where Cumbre Vieja is, that is 3 minutes after midnight, 1.02 kilometers down. So something likely collapsed. This 1.0 here, 6 minutes after midnight, that was out in the water, 9 kilometers down. And a 0.8 from 2:18 a.m. also out in the water, and that is 9 kilometers down as well. So that pretty much covers those guys. Let's go over to our volcano map. I do want to refresh that one and see what we've got going on. And let's take a look there and zoom that in just a little bit. Okay, so yep, still there in Iceland, 2 of them, and São Jorge and Terceira out there in the Azores. Michael volcano down here. I'm surprised no big rings showing there for earthquakes. Things got a little quieter for him. Everything else along the ring of fire pretty much looking the same. There haven't been any major changes anywhere, nothing that I've seen anyway. There's Popocatepetl, Fuego down there, and then of course there is Nervado del Ruz, and that one is off-gassing fairly heavy, same as Reventador. And Cotopaxi is still an orange, and Sangay also still a red. Nothing new there. And looking at New Zealand real quick, we do see Taupo and a White Isle volcano continuing to tease us for the most part. Tonga area, Home Reef volcano, and Tofua, and there you go. And then Yasur, Aoba, Aoba being the gassy one over here. And of course, we see the Solomon Islands here continue to get punished with quakes. Pretty standard stuff here in Indonesia, Luolatak, Raung, Semeru, Merapi, and Krakatau. And then, of course, you got Ibu and Dakono sitting there. And going up to all is still in there, but showing an orange, but it's really not been that active. And of course, that 5 hours ago, a 5.1 magnitude quake that we see on the northern end. And we've had some really big quakes up here before, so we know that this is not uncommon to see a quake there. And a high still showing as an orange, and the same thing with Nishimoshima doing its thing. And then going up, Suwanosejima and Sakurajima still very much so active, and no changes from our trio here, which is Chikarachki, Ibako, and Alade. And then we've got Karimsky, Bezimiani, and Shivalish doing their thing. Things are quieter here in the Aleutian Islands. Semi is still there, and they do have Takawang, if I said it right, still showing as a yellow. Great Sitkins an orange, Cleveland yellow, and then of course Pavlov, which is the most active out of the bunch right now, doing its thing. Zooming back out, sliding over a little bit more. Quick peek, there is Erebus down here in South Africa, or sorry, Antarctica, not South Africa. Boy, if I move volcanoes around, I'll be in trouble. The geologists and volcanists, boy, I can't talk today. 12 bubbles. Anyway, volcanologists will be mad at me if I start moving the volcanoes. Heard Island volcano still fairly quiet, and of course Piton del la Formes in Reunion Island still doing its thing. Everybody else here pretty much normal. Urta Ale hasn't moved. At least I didn't move it. And Etna, of course, being there. Volcano Stromboli, and of course Campi here in the Italian theater of volcanoes. So that's it for the volcano map. And let's see if we can get in real quick here and take a look at our weather maps. And we'll see if we can at least get our SO2 out of the way, and then we will see what we can find for. Oh, look, now for Sunday we've got 4 snowflakes issued. They took them off of Saturday and moved it over to midnight at Sunday. 4 snowflakes for Sunday. That is awesome. Anyway, there we go. We see what's happening in North America. A lot of that stuff still pushing out of the Kamchatka Peninsula into Alaska, and that is making its way up and down as well and getting caught here. And of course there's a storm just north of Hawaii, and that jet stream is pouring in there like that. So they've got a pretty harsh jet stream. And there we can see the spots where we got heavy pollution coming off of industrial stuff, as well as just regular human pollution. Quite high levels of SO2 in southern Ontario, and just in general around the Great Lakes region. And they need more snowstorms to clean those air, the SO2 out of the air. Actually, I don't think they want any more snow. They had enough there in Buffalo. Boy, I was looking at some of that, and it was funny to see the band of snow coming across. It was all just right on top of Buffalo, and it was just like a 25 or 30 kilometer wide swath coming off across the Great Lakes and just heading up there. and it was pretty nasty. Anyway, not seeing too much there. Nothing in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and Newfoundland and Labrador, and those areas are pretty clean. The U.S. For the most part looks like they've got a big high. I do believe that's a high in here, circulating and keeping things fairly clear, which is not bad. But they are getting some of that. Pulling that jet stream up and over. Normal stuff really for North America, and of course looking at down here in kind of more central areas, Popocatepetl and Mexico City definitely throwing out that SO2, and that is going into the Gulf of Mexico. The stuff coming off of the other Central American areas is pluming into the Pacific the way it normally does. And here's what I was afraid of, very, very SO2-like heavy concentrations down here in Ecuador and in Colombia. And that's where we just mentioned about Sangay and the other volcanoes in this area, fairly active right now with SO2 coming out. And sliding down pretty normal in the bottom end of South America. Larger plume coming off, and that could be weather related too, but showing that coming off of White Isle Volcano. This, of course, coming from Tofua, but it may also, some of that may also be coming from Hunga Tonga. And that is something else. Yes, I see that. Just going to finish this off real quick. And we do see our stuff here from north of Sydney, and pretty normal. And that is Aoba doing most of this work here. Pretty normal in Indonesia. And of course, Ibu and Dacono continuing to do their thing. Not so bad in the Philippines. We see China still throwing out a lot of stuff. And there, of course, Suwanosi-jima and Sakura-jima doing their thing. And we already talked about the Kamchatka Peninsula doing its normal routine. And pretty normal for India. We see the plume from South Africa going out a little more. That, of course, pollution from the gold smelting plants. DR Congo has 2 volcanoes and the coking plants there. Pretty normal, and Eruption would be sitting right about there doing its thing. And these spots here in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Kuwait, and that are from refineries. And looking at what we've got coming off of Etna, looks like a little bit more today than we had yesterday. Not so much coming down from Stromboli or Volcano. Northern portions of Germany, a little bit into Denmark and Holland, but all very heavy over here in Poland and Belarus and those areas. Lithuania, quite hard with their industrial stuff. Let's leave that be. I am going to go take a break. After the break, we will come back and do our actual weather map, you guys, and then we'll continue. So please don't go away. Gonna put you back on the canned lava, let you enjoy that. Ron of Virginia, welcome. Glad to have you on board. And OneFish26 also popped in. Good to see you. Anyway, for those good people who are here, if you have not yet hit that like button, please do consider popping it and get that thumbs up going. Of course, would be really, really nice to see. And for those who have not yet subscribed, sitting on the outside, if you want to help out, definitely give it a quick bop. Don't forget to hit that bell notification once you've subscribed, and then it'll take 1 minute for you to be able to go chat in the chat box. I'm your host, DrFox2000, here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Don't go away. Thanks. And there we go, microphone back on for our last go, and time to do the weather stuff. And hey, Mocha, welcome. I'm glad to have you on board. So welcome and welcome back, everyone. I'm glad to have you here. And thank you from Sue for the welcome back, and Kananaskis Country and Kevin Haynes. Awesome. Thank you guys. And Robert and Chandel also. And can hear you. Excellent. I'm glad that you can. And anyway, it is time to do our weather. So we'll leave our canned lava be and have a look at our weather map. And let's see what we can find out. What's cooking here in North America. First off, and we see the northern portions of Canada starting to get really cold again. Looks like a minus 35, 36 up here in Baffin Island area, and northern Alaska showing some colder stuff as well, seeping into the Yukon and a portion of Northwest Territories, but the other areas not quite as cold. As we move over, we see even plus temperatures in the Northwest Territories, even at nighttime right now. So quite a bit warmer for them. We do see this flow coming in here and pushing across Vancouver Island and in through the Rocky Mountains, helping give us some warmer air in Alberta and portions of Saskatchewan. That low, of course, up here is doing a wonderful job drawing that stuff upward, but in turn it's also churning up the cold up north, so not so good. But looking at Edmonton today, 5 degrees Celsius right now here. Vancouver coming in at 9, Calgary only oh wow, they've got 8 degrees in Calgary. And down on the bottom here, we're Lethbridge and that area is looks like at 10 degrees. Holy mackerel, and they're warm. And the Swift Current, of course, where there it is, only 3 degrees, and that's where Kananaskis Country is from. So cold there, Kananaskis. You live in an igloo or something? Anyway, sliding over a bit more, and let's see, 5 degrees. Oh, okay, so the map says 3, almost right, but looks like the border of Saskatchewan and Manitoba is the cutoff point for the good stuff, and then we get below temperatures again in the Manitoba and northern Ontario portions. We see that the ridge line here kind of cuts off right about here, going all the way across, showing some of the Great Lakes still getting a little bit of that warmer temperatures, but at bottom end of Ontario, seeing bottom end about 8 degrees, Toronto only making it to 3, Montreal -2, Quebec probably something very cold like a -4, -5. Sliding over a little bit and looking at top end of New Brunswick, -10, -12, 13, Burr, very cold. Cole Harbor, thanks Sue, and showing a -2 Celsius right about there. And there we go for Nova Scotia. Looking at Newfoundland, though, they've got this nasty low right there, and I'm wondering if it's snowing like a banshee out there. Anyway, -7, -8 for the most part. The coastal area is a little bit warmer, but yeah, they probably are getting a pile of snow. Let's take a look at the U.S. as things cool down. We do still see that big high here. He's got another high friend over here, and that is keeping them cold in that cold area. And looking at the western coast, Portland coming in at about 6 degrees Celsius right now. San Jose 13, and moving down a little bit. Los Angeles 17 today, so a reasonable day for this time of year. Death Valley coming in at, let's see what we got there, about 19 degrees. Oh, 17 degrees. Okay, so that's not too bad, but still bring a jacket, otherwise you're going to freeze to death. Mexicali coming in at 16, Las Vegas only at 12 degrees. Looking at Phoenix, 15 degrees there. Tucson 12, and I don't even want to look at Flagstaff -1, -2. So quite cool there. Moving over a little bit, and we see it's quite cold there in Colorado, Utah, and of course Wyoming, and warms up a little bit up in Montana. Part of Idaho, though, still in that bitter cold as well. That goes all the way down into New Mexico, bottom end of New Mexico, a little bit warmer. And portions of Texas, the northwest side, a little on the cooler side, but we do see warmer temps down there. Likely some rainstorms happening though. San Antonio 17 degrees, Houston coming in at about 17, Dallas only about 13, 12 or 13 degrees, and we see the circulation here. So it must be sitting right over top of Houston or just about. Anyway, sliding over a little more, New Orleans coming in about 20 degrees, and going through Mississippi and Louisiana, not bad temperatures. Same thing with Alabama. Looks like a little warmer today in Georgia as well. Atlanta coming in at 14, South Carolina not bad, and Grandma B's house coming in about 10 degrees, 50 Fahrenheit roughly, and that's what we're seeing there. If we dip down here and take a look at our Florida, wow, 25, 26 maximum at the coast right now. It was warmer there during the daylight hours, of course, sliding up a little more. Virginia Beach at about 11 to 13 degrees, depending on where you hold your mouse. And there, oh, hang on, hamster, I keep forgetting that. It's a hamster. Let's see, what else we got here. Philadelphia is about 6 degrees. New York, same thing, 6. A little cooler in Boston with about 4. And of course we zipped past Halifax there at -1. So that's all good and not too bad. That cold retreated a little bit from Mexico, but they are still seeing some cooler temperatures in some places. Mexico City coming in at about 12 degrees. Let's see what Cancun is today, 27. So that's a little better. You can get out on the beach. And Central America, we see all kinds of circulations happening. A low over here, high over here, and makes you wonder. That's all kinds of disturbed air. And looking at Brazil, not bad, and the rainforest, and sliding down, we see the hot spots here are right where this low is sitting. And that is pushing right up against the mountains, high on either side, lows in the middle, and that is going to make for some wild weather there. And looking at Uruguay, about 22 degrees, 23 degrees in some spots, 20 as the outside near the shores. Rio de Janeiro, 20 roughly. Sao Paulo about 19 there, bottom end of Chile, and Argentina a little bit on the colder side. Seeing what we've got there with the flows, a couple, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 highs sitting within Australia, so that is helping out a little bit. That low finally moved down a little bit more, and allowing more of that warmer air to come in, but still not enough. They are seeing from about 10 to 14 degrees along the western coast. The eastern side a lot warmer, where Christchurch and those places are 16 degrees there. Wellington is a balmy 17, and there's some warmer spots, but seeing what we see, the lower elevations, of course, a little on the colder side, but coastal areas and everything are looking pretty good. Sliding over, having a quick peek at what we see over here in Tasmania, we see a 12 at Hobart today, northern side of the island, a lot warmer, but not that bad. I mean, it could be worse. And Leo's place, Leo is almost basking in the sunshine. He will be soon, though, once those warmer temperatures get down here from Adelaide. They sent a email out that they're sending them down. 27 degrees there, so that'll be welcomed by Leo. Anyway, we do see here 24 in Sydney, and Brisbane coming in about 30 degrees. Wow, summertime, and Oz really enjoying her weather there. And let's see, about 18 and 19 over in Perth. Here's some of the hottest temperatures on the planet right now in these spots. So 39, I don't see any 40s in here yet, and that might be in here a little bit, 39 degrees, so yeah, and that is what we've got. So that's about as warm as we're going to see it today. And of course I wanted to point out the El Nino, La Nino. And La Nino is right there. You can see the triangle that kind of built with the currents going in the from the east to the west. So that is kind of a normal year, making our weather bad. Anyway, looking at what we've got in the Philippine, Indonesian areas, and Bangkok, thanks Sue, she says 27, and let's see what it is coming in at. It says about 27, if, depending on where we put the mouse or hamster, and we see that low sitting there as well with a friend over here, likely some more storms. Going up a little bit, looking at Japan, we don't see it being very warm there. 19, 20 at the bottom end. Did I miss? Yeah, I did. 31 degrees in Manila. So if you want a warm, there you go. But you get rain with it. And going up the areas here in Japan, some very cold temperatures, nasty low, moving real fast right there. Kamchatka Peninsula, bitterly cold and windy. Wouldn't want to be there. And of course the Russian Siberian areas are getting very, very nasty up there. Looking at India, a little bit cooler from what we see there in the northern portions, but the south end still looking not bad. South Africa looks kind of cooler today, 14 in Cape Town, and Johannesburg coming in about 19 degrees. The western side of Madagascar, of course, still holding some good temperatures. And of course, it is nighttime there, so these are nighttime temperatures, you guys got to remember that. And looking at Central Africa, pretty normal for right now. Looks like a little bit warmer here in the Sahara Desert, but not by much. We do still see some fairly cold temperatures, very low, double digits as far as we can count there. 16 degrees in Cairo today. And let's see what Piggy's place is. And Piggy is getting some colder temperatures, and she is likely around about 15, 16 degrees there in the island of Kos for Piggy. And then we have our Sicily. Boy, oh boy, we're going to see some more snow on Mount Etna, I guarantee it. It is getting quite cool there. Same thing with all of Italy, with the exception of the coastline. And 5 degrees up in Milano, and Rome coming in at 6, and Nepal coming in at about 8 degrees. New Monkland, or Sardinia, if you want to call it that, coastal areas anywhere from about 10 to 16 degrees. The interior a lot cooler though. sliding over a bit more and taking a look at bottom end of Spain and Portugal, a little bit warmer, but the northern area is quite cool. We do see a little bit of that wind blowing into France, keeping it kind of warmer, but the interior looks a lot colder, especially over at the Alps. And looking at Brussels, and coming in about 9 degrees. Luxembourg looks a little cooler, 5 degrees Celsius. Amsterdam coming in at 9 today, or this evening for them, and of course not bad for nighttime temperatures. Berlin about 4 degrees, Hamburg 4, Cologne coming in at 6, and Munich is at 0. Sliding up a little more, we see the warmer currents pushing through here. Of course, the English Channel, and it's going all the way up, and some of that is making it up to Iceland. Copenhagen about 7 degrees today, and 6, 7 for the most of Denmark. Stockholm, Sweden coming in at 1, Oslo 1, Riga -1, and then we've got St. Petersburg over here at -6. Quick peek, Moscow coming in at -7. Looks like not bad temperatures out in England with the warmer air pushing through. So for winter or fall, late fall, early winter, it's not bad. A little cooler in some spots. Wales, the coastline here, a little bit warmer though, but not by much. Same thing goes for any of these areas, really. The coastal areas are a lot warmer. And of course Scotland, 3, 4 degrees, 5 degrees in some spots. Getting onto old Irish monk land, Doolin be about 7, 8, 9 degrees, somewhere in that ballpark right now. But the other areas being about 6 or 7 in most of Ireland. Sliding up a little bit and taking a look at Iceland, and we see those currents being pushed up there, the warmer stuff, and hopefully they will keep a little bit warmer there. Reykjavik 7 degrees Celsius today, which is a little bit better than what they had yesterday, and our Ragnar area be about 5, 6 degrees depending on where you're standing. And that is it for our temperatures for right now. Pardon me. Let's take a look at precipitation and see what we've got coming. And looks like the western coast of Alaska and British Columbia getting nailed, and yep, all of it. And just a little spotting here that's fairly dry, so that's not bad. But the interior of British Columbia also is getting a bunch of snow. And then we see up here in the Yukon and Northwest Territories going all the way into northern Saskatchewan, a bunch of snow. Don't see anything coming to Edmonton yet, which is really good. We see another low sitting here on Hudson's Bay, and of course northern Ontario and northern Quebec getting more snow and ice rain, which is not unfamiliar to those areas. And of course we're going to see some lake effect stuff happening here, but relatively warmer temperatures are going to keep it from snowing. Sliding over a little bit more, taking a look here, we do see some snow in the eastern parts of, well, it'd be northeastern of Nova Scotia, and then seeing that low there, that is definitely getting Newfoundland. And then of course Newfoundland Labrador area getting a bunch of snow as well. Sliding over a bit more, looking at the western United States, not bad looking that high, keeping most of the western area pretty good. And not till you get down here into New Mexico, there you see a bunch of snow and some rain. Get into Texas, it all turns into rain. And here's that storm I was referring to, and we see that it is definitely hitting Louisiana, Mississippi area, and getting up into Arkansas a little bit as well. So lots of activity there. a little bit off the coast, on the eastern coast. You have a few showers happening there in Florida, and looks like South Carolina bleeding into North Carolina. So not too bad for the most part. And here we see a mixed bag of highs and lows put together, and we see circulations every which way, so lots of stuff happening there. Looking at Brazil rainforest areas and getting a bunch of rain. Looks like Rio de Janeiro in the rainy season right now. Looking a lot drier in Uruguay, Paraguay, and also Argentina, with the exception of right there in the mountain. And then down on the bottom, we see a little bit here in Chile, so not bad. Not quite as much rain in New Zealand today, but I'm sure they're going to get some more, because there's more coming. If those wind currents don't change, we'll see more there. Looks like Leo's place isn't getting any rain in Melbourne, and neither is Adelaide. Sliding up, and Sydney looks pretty dry. Same thing with Brisbane. We do see some showers in the interior again, and I'm sure they are enjoying that water. Could be raining there in Perth a little bit. And here's another circulation causing some more storms. Lots of stuff happening in our Philippine and Indonesian area and those areas. It's this time of year. It's when things get busy for them. Bangkok getting about 9 millimeters of rain, depending on where you hold the mouse. Yeah, just about 3 millimeters rather than just 0.9. Over nothing in Manila right now, but the other areas of the Philippines are definitely getting it, and a little bit in Taiwan. Looks like Japan looks dry right now, but we see North Korea, and up here in northern China and Russia, they are getting nailed. Going up on the Kamchatka Peninsula, well, what do you expect? Snow. And moving along, we do see the Indian Ocean continuing to have a storm all the way across, or cold, I guess a rain front is what we'll call it, and that goes all the way into our areas here. Of course, that is the rainforest area of Africa, Congo, and such. And that is, it is the rainy season for them after all, so that is what we're seeing there. Let's zoom in and take a look and see what Piggy is getting. And Piggy is getting some rain? No? Maybe. Yep, Piggy is getting some rain right now, and that'll be awesome. And they do need that water there, so that is really good. We do see quite a bit of stormy stuff happening in Iraq, and of course along the coast of Israel, and those places definitely getting nailed. And looking at the northern portions of Turkey, they are getting nailed as well. Not so bad in Spain, and France getting some showers. Germany doesn't look too bad. Looks a little colder in Poland with some snow, and we see those this low, of course, pulling all this stuff up, and lots of rain up in Scotland, a little in Wales, not too much in Ireland, and the rest of England isn't that bad either. Nothing in Denmark, and looking at a little bit of snow in Norway and Sweden and Finland. And looking over here at our wonderful Iceland, we see some rain in the eastern portions with snow, and that is not a surprise. So that is it for our weather for right now. The only thing left is to go find the coldest point on the planet, and I don't know. This is going to be interesting, and we'll see. Duchess of Elements, welcome. You are so fashionably late that the show is just about over, Duchess. But welcome, and glad to have you on board. Anyway, typically I go down here and look for the coldest temperature, and I am going to pull a fast one on Sue, and as she's looking down here for the coldest temperature, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go find you the coldest temperature, and we're going to get up here and we are going to find it for you. And Sue's probably going, what's he doing? He can't do that. Yes, he can. He's going to find the coldest temperature, never mind those darn penguins. And there you go. Coldest temperature for today on the planet is in Siberia at minus 47 degrees Celsius. And that is what we've got. We are going for Arctic. For the future, yeah, I got Siberia at minus 47, Sue. And yes, I did exactly the same thing. I found that minus 43 in Antarctica, and I thought, no, I've seen colder temperatures up north. I'm going to go do that. So there you go. Siberia is got that minus 47 degrees, and that is pretty cold, and for up there. And yeah, it'll be like that in Edmonton soon. This will come over to Edmonton, but I had to do that, Sue. It was just me, but yeah, I did find that minus 43 down there as well in Antarctica, and that's actually a pretty balmy, pretty warm for them. So the penguins probably are loving it right now, and there's a whole area that's minus 43 right in here. So that's not bad. And anyway. Hey Sue, I will pass on that. I'll stay in Hawaii. Oh, come on. Don't you want to go feed the penguins, Duchess of Elements? They're cute. Or you can come to Siberia and feed the yaks. Oh, that is so cruel, and that is mean. That is a cold temperature, minus 47 degrees Fahrenheit, or Celsius, I should say. So very, very cold. Philomena, good night. Take care of yourself and have a lovely evening. And that is it for our show today. And we can do our thing. Way too cold for me. Yep, I get you. It is for most people, Duchess. It definitely is. That's it for our wonderful show, and I will put it back on something a little warmer, keep you guys all warmed up after that cold experience there in northern Russia. And I'll wrap things up, and since we didn't have any super chats today, only one gift membership there from Kevin Haynes, so that is all we've got. Thank you, Kevin. I do appreciate that. That is awesome. I didn't see who got it, but thank you. Let me just check. I don't see any new members, so I don't think it even got handed out. But thanks for giving it a shot. Anyway, do appreciate that. Also, a big thank you to each and every one of you who is in here. And thank you kindly for hitting the like button. We are still about 10 short to get to that 100 mark. So if anyone hasn't hit that like button yet, help us out, please. And I want to say a big thank you to our wonderful moderators. The only one I seen today was, of course, Joseph Fields, but that is all good. And thank you to Arizona Snowman, Piggy. Hopefully Piggy is resting well and she's having a good sleep. I know she's on those medications that really knock her out, so that's all good. Also, a big thank you to C&D Boy if he ever does show up. Thanks. And also Gary 24/7 Live, AZ Skies, as well as perhaps Lucas Snow and some of the others. On those friendly notes, be good, be kind, take care of yourselves, everyone, and have yourselves a wonderful evening. And for those who are still celebrating their Thanksgiving, hopefully you will not go into a food coma too quickly. And just remember, moderation, the best thing. So all good. And be kind, be good, take care, and please, please, most of all, make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them tonight, for tomorrow is never promised. I'm your host, DrFox2000, here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday night, so we'll see you then. Take care, and oink oink!